It's time to begin. Welcome everyone. Welcome to Spelling for Life. We're going to do a lesson every day on the program Spelling for Life. I wrote this program, this book, and this program to help children become spelling stars. The book was also written for teachers. It's called Uncovering the Simplicity and Science of Spelling. And I do think that English spelling is fairly simply put together, but if it's not explained well at the beginning, it can be hard. Also, there are some brains that just see a word once or twice, and that's it. It's in there forever. They don't even need spelling lessons. What annoying people they are. However, there are others who need lots and lots of lessons on spelling to become better spellers, and that's what Spelling for Life is for. Also, though, if you've got one of those brains, it's not a bad idea to understand the way that words are put together so that when it does get harder, you'll know what to do. So Spelling for Life is for all of those situations. So welcome. Now, last week, you can see, I don't know if you are keeping up with the way that we're making this happen, but I started doing lessons in my pajamas. It was called Lessons in My Gym Jams. And last week, all the people who participated in those lessons voted on whether or not I should be doing Spelling for Life in my gym jams. And guess what? People voted. Yeah, they voted do the lessons in your gym jams. So it's a bit cold today in Melbourne. I know there's people from all over the world, but in Melbourne, it's a bit cold. And so I've got my nice fluffy dressing gown on as well. But in the lead up to Easter, I've got some classic bunny in a pocket Peter Alexander gym jams here. You can see the bunny rabbit in my pocket, but on the bottom I have classic Peter Alexander pandas. There you go, there's my pandas and my bunny in a pocket. Now, we're about to begin. The first thing that we're going to do is we're going to say hi to Finn. He's been absolutely dreadful last week, not coming up to get his treat, so let's see what he does this morning. Finn. Finn, who is it? Who is it? Finn, who is it? Come here. Come here, come here, come here. Come and say hello to everybody. Up, up. Good boy. Good boy. Come here, look. Come here. Here he comes. Hop, hop. Good boy. He's come to get his treat. And he's gone again. He doesn't like being on camera, which is fair enough. It's not for everybody. All right, let's begin. First of all, last week we looked at why the days of the week were called the names that they had, or had the names that they had. And today is Monday. There are two ways that we have named the days of the week. We've named them after mythical characters from Norse mythology, from Viking and Germanic mythology. So we looked at Tuesday being Tyr's Day, Wednesday being Odin's Day, Thursday being Thor's Day, and Friday being Frigga's Day. We're now on Monday. There's the other way that we name days of the week, and that is after things in the sky. So what do you reckon? So Monday is named after what do you reckon? Yeah, it's the moon's day. It lost an O somewhere in translation, and now we just have Mon Day. And even the pronunciation of it changed as well. It's not Moon Day, it's Monday. So today was named after the moon. Now you can figure out yourselves what Saturday and Sunday were named after. I'm not going to tell you. You have to figure out things in the sky, things that you can see up in the sky. All right. There we go. Spelling for Life, how to be a spelling star. We are going to look at a couple of things today, mostly vowels and consonants and the difference between them. If you look at my board here, I've got all the letters of the alphabet on there, but I've separated the letters into two sections. We've got consonants up here and vowels here. And I'm sure if you go to school, you've heard the word consonant and vowel, vowel and consonant, but what does it all mean? Well, the first thing that you should know is that there are 26 letters in the alphabet, 26 of them, and with all of those, we can combine and recombine them and make all the words that we need to make in the whole language, which I think is amazing. There's 26 letters in the alphabet. Some of them are vowels and some of them are consonants. But the big question is why? What's all that about? Why did we take a whole bunch and call them consonants and then another bunch and call them vowels? I don't know. Well, I do know, actually. That's why we're here today, to do this lesson. So have a think about that. What's the difference between vowels and consonants? PowerPoint. So why are some vowels and why are some consonants? Well, the way we have to look at it is via the sound machine. And that basically is the machine that we use to create sounds. If you look at this diagram here, what we've got, it's like we were looking inside someone's body, and we've got the lungs here, and then we've got this hollow tube that comes up through the throat like that. We've got some tissue here. They're called the vocal cords or the voice box. And then we've got this big muscle here called the tongue. You know what that is, the teeth, and then the lips. And that machine, all of those bits put together, create all the sounds or help us articulate all the sounds that we make when we're speaking as humans. So when sound is coming from my mouth to your ears, the first thing it does is it travels through the air. It's the lungs that bring the air in and out of the body. So that's a diagram of the lungs. It's not really very anatomically correct, but you get the general picture. Then we've got the voice box here, and that's some tissue that when you pass air over it, helps us to make sounds. Next, tongue and teeth and lips. And that is the sound machine, right? That's the machine that you use to make sound. So now what we're going to do is we're going to take a consonant. We're going to take a consonant and we are going to figure out what it is that's moving to make that consonant sound. The first one we're going to do is the first consonant in the alphabet. It is the letter B, and the sound that you have to make when you see this in words is B. So when you said B, the air started off in your lungs, came up through this hollow tube. The tissues here, the voice box here, vibrated and made a sound. When you say B, there's a sound coming from your voice box. If you make this sound, P, you're doing the same thing in your mouth as B, but this one, voice on, B. This one, voice off, P. But it's the same action with your lips. Your lips come together like this. The air has to push its way past your lips, B, and explode out like that. Same with P. It's the same action with your lips. The only difference with those two sounds is that this one has voice box vibrating and this one doesn't. Amazing. They go in pairs like that. That's how we can get so many sounds just with that machine. It's amazing, isn't it? So make the consonant sound B. Everybody, B. Let's hear it. Well, actually, no, don't turn on your mics just yet. But you can say it out loud. B. All right. So I've got a question for you. When you made that consonant sound, did anything get in the way before it came out? Right, your lips. B. They closed. They got in the way of that air coming out. Yeah. Try and say B without letting your lips get in the way. This time you can't close your lips. You ready? Say B with your lips open. Well, you can't, can you? Because you've got to close your lip. You've got to do that to make that sound. So the other question sometimes we ask with consonant sounds or with any sounds that you're making, was there some friction? If nothing got in the way, did you actually hear a hissing sound? So a friction is when you pass air over a narrow surface and it makes a hissing sound. Like this one. This one is friction. So nothing particularly got in the way like B, but I was still pushing that air through a narrow gap. In fact, the air had to force its way through. Like that. You can feel the vibration and the force in your mouth. If the answer to any of those questions is yes, then what you have is a consonant. That's what a consonant is. It is the production of sound where something gets in the way. So a consonant equals something in the way. Okay, now we'll have questions at the end. I'm sure there are some questions coming up, but we'll have questions at the end just so that we can continue with the lesson. All right. Now let's look at vowels. Back to the sound machine again. The thing that the machine, the bits that go together to make human speech sounds. We've got air, of course, lungs, voice box, tongue, teeth, lips. This time we're going to choose a vowel sound, and we might as well choose the first vowel in the alphabet, represented in writing by the letter A. The first and most common sound that this one represents is A. Everyone say it, A. We all said A, because I want you to think about how you are producing that sound. A. Here come the questions. When you made that vowel sound, did anything get in the way? A. Was there some friction? A. I didn't hear any friction there. Did the air have to force its way through? A. The answer is no. So guess what that is? That's a vowel. That's the difference. Consonant, things getting in the way. B. Or friction. S. Vowel, nothing in the way. And the letters that we normally use to express vowels in words are A, E, I, O, and U, and sometimes Y. Hands up if you were at, or thumbs up if you were at the Y lesson last week. The very, very sad thing about the Y lesson last week is that I forgot to record it. But it's coming up again, so you will all be able to see the Y lesson. Thank you for raising your hands. Very good. Brilliant work. All right, so vowel, nothing in the way. Consonant, something in the way. But why do we care? Why do we care? What's the point of knowing that? I mean, is that just stuff that linguists should know and everyone else should forget about? I don't think so. I think it's really important for spelling to know this. I think it's important to understand and know this. Are you keeping an eye in? All right. So what I want you to do now, you see this picture of Santa here? What I want you to do now is imagine a world that has no vowels. Imagine if there weren't vowel sounds in words, okay? And Santa has just come to your door with a great big sack of presents, right? So imagine what's in that sack of presents. Think of all the things that you like. Puppies, kittens, ponies, round the world, first class trips to anywhere. Well, not just now, but soon. Chocolate, I mean, whatever it is that you like. And that sack is filled with diamonds, all sorts of things. And Santa comes to your door, right? But you live in a world with no vowels. So we're going to take someone's name and we're going to take away the vowels, all right? I think a really good name to start with is Austin. I have a student called Austin. And I'm going to write his name on the board and then we're going to take away the vowels. You ready? A, S, T, E, N. Austin. Now, if we were to take away the vowels from that name, I would take away the A and the U. Gosh, that's a messy rubber, isn't it? Take away the A and the U and take away the I. Now, Austin's name is going to be Stin. Stin. Right? That's his name now because we live in a world with no vowels. So Santa comes to Stin's door and Stin is really far away down at the bottom of the yard. And Santa says to his mum, hey, I've got this sack of presents for Stin here, but I can only wait 10 seconds. If Stin doesn't come to the door in 10 seconds, I'm going to give this bag of presents to his neighbor. So his mum goes, oh, okay, I'll call for him. And we're going to shout Stin's name now. Are you ready? I want everyone to shout it. Mic's off though. Mic's off, shout it in the comfort of your own home. You ready? 1, 2, 3. Now, what's going to happen? Is he going to get his presents? I don't think so. I don't think so. Because it's the fact that you open up that machine, that tube, to get the sound out for vowels that carries the sounds in the words. If we put, and we should put his vowels back. Now we can shout for him, Austin, right? And I'm sure he'd come running and get his presents. So that's why we care, because vowels are the syllables in words. Vowels are the major sounds in words. We're going to talk a lot about syllables, and I know that even from kindergarten onwards, you guys have been counting syllables, but we'll do some lessons on that too. But syllables are the beat. Austin, 2 beats, yep. 2 vowel. 2 vowels as well. These 2 letters make 1 sound. They represent 1 vowel sound. Austin, boom, boom, 2 syllables, yep. So vowels are the syllables in the words. Without them, it's very, very hard to say and spell words. So there has to be a vowel sound in every word. That's the first principle that you need to understand. There has to be a vowel sound in every word. Otherwise, we can't communicate. Not just every word, every syllable in every word. Now, what's that got to do with spelling? Well, when you are spelling, you gotta check your word for vowels. It's one of the things, it's one of the mistakes I see a lot when children are trying to spell words, especially the longer ones. The vowels sort of disappear. Vowels are the most important ones. Consonants cluster around them in different ways, but you gotta have vowels in your syllables. Check your word for vowels, check your syllables for vowels, and you're on your way to being a spelling star. Get those vowels in there. Figuring out which vowel it is, well, that's a lesson too, and we are going to go over that. But for now, I want you to understand the importance of having vowels, A, E, I, O, or U, at least, in every syllable of every word. So here comes your homework. You ready? The first thing I want you to do is choose 5 names. This is what you do for practice. If you want to practice this lesson after I end the meeting, choose 5 names, write them down. So it can be names of your family, your pets, your friends, your relatives. Yep. Write them down. Take away the vowels, just like I did. Try and shout those names. And then when you've done enough of that and seen the importance of vowels in words, I want you to make the pledge. I will spell every syllable with a vowel from now on. Got it? Good. And the homework I will load onto the website if you've missed it. And also there will be a recording of this lesson so you can look over it again. And I'll go as quickly as I can trying to get that recording up. But for now, that's what I wanted to communicate to you today, the difference between vowels and consonants. From that, we can do lots of really good spelling lessons, but you've got to get that in your head first. All right. So we've got about 8 minutes left. If you have a question, oh, there's lots of hands up. I'm not sure, you can put your hand down if you don't have a question. If you have a question, now is the time to answer it. What we'll do is we'll unmute you one by one and you can say your question. So it looks like I've got Michelle's device here and I'm going to unmute Michelle now. Did you have a question, Michelle? Or whoever is on Michelle's device? Got some giggles.
Why do we have 2 hands up?
What was that? Okay, I'm not sure what that question was. What I'm going to do is put you back on mute for a sec and lower your hand, but if you want to answer again, you can. Sorry, if you want to ask a question again and have another go in a second, you can. All right, looks like we've got Edie coming up. Gonna unmute you, Edie. And yay, there you are. What's your question today? Oh, start again.
I heard that Y was like sort of a part-time vowel. Is it?
Yes, it is. And last week we did a lesson on it, so I'm so sorry you missed it. If you missed it, it's coming up. It's coming up, but not quite yet. We will do the letter Y in the next week or so. But I like that description, part-time vowel, very intelligent. Love it. Thank you, Edie. All right. Anybody else with a question? Gosh, no. Oh, do we keep the Y's in names? Somebody's written here. That's a good question. So, do we keep Y's in the names? I'm not quite sure what that means, though, for the homework. Ah, that's a brilliant, of course, right. If the name begins with Y, unless it's Yvonne, because that is representing a vowel sound, yep, then you take it away. You treat it like a vowel unless it's representing the sound Y, which we treat as a consonant. Ah, when you've got the name Amy, the Y is representing the sound E. E, is that a vowel or a consonant? Think about how you produce it, and then you can answer your own question. Dun, dun, dun. All right, very good question, though. Okay. Any other questions? Yes, Rachel, going to unmute you. Go for it.
Does every name has 3 vowels?
Every name has.
Yeah, because every name I have down here has only 3 vowels.
That's interesting. That's just a coincidence. So I know Austin has 3 vowel letters and 2 vowel sounds, but look at my name. Does that have 3 vowels?
No.
No. So yeah, all names are all different. They're all different. Sometimes you can get ones with like 5 vowels. Sometimes you can get ones with not even an A, E, I, O, U. Names are good to look at. Does that answer your question?
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. All right. Em, are you doing muting and so on? Okay. Thanks. I'll put you back on mute. All right. Anybody else with a question? Oh, yes, Amy has 2. You're right. All right. Thomas, if you have a question, if you wouldn't mind putting your hand up, because what it does is it puts you to the top of the queue, and then I can see you and unmute you. There are some, why is the voice box so important, says somebody. Why is the voice box so important? Well, without it, we wouldn't. All right, Thomas, I'll answer your question in a sec. Can you unmute Thomas, please? Rebecca Fraser. Yep. Why is the voice box so important? Well, it's one of the parts of the machine that helps us make the sounds that we need to make. And in fact, all vowels use the voice box. You can't have an unvoiced vowel. Here are the vowels without my voice box on. Are you ready? Yep, that's the vowels. You can make consonants without your voice box on, but not vowels. There you go.
Okay. Sorry.
We're coming to you shortly, Thomas. Imogen's just looking for you so that you can ask your wonderful question. But I'm going to unmute Rachel's device again.
No, you did it.
Yes, what's your question?
Why do we like split up languages? Like, why do we split them up in the first place? Like, why did we need to do that?
It wasn't something that anyone intended to do, but as the population of the world grew, more and more people occupied more and more space. And the more you do that, the more language changes. For instance, in America, right, we're talking about English here. In America, they say, what do they say? They say gas station. And we, in Australia, say servo, right? Because language changes like that. And it doesn't just change in one language. Languages evolve and change so that they look really, really, really different from each other over time. But a lot of them go back to the same language when there weren't many people on Earth. But like everything else, it changes. And sometimes, because there's been so much time in history, it changes almost beyond recognition. But if you're really interested in that sort of stuff, if you look up the story of words, you'll find that they all go back to only a few central languages. So I don't know if that answers your question, because it's a massive question.
No, it's fine. Thank you.
Thank you very much. That's lovely. All right, Thomas, I'm coming to you. Imi, are you muting, etc.?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, here we go. Thomas, go for it.
For the homework, I'm doing. Is it on the disc? Is it in the link description below? I mean for that. Is it in your your website for like?
Will be, yeah. So the homework will be on the recording,
Okay.
and that will be at about 2 o'clock today.
Okay.
Because the reason, I mean, I can probably cut and paste the homework. It's just choosing 5 names. Maybe I should do that as well. Maybe I should cut and paste homework. Do you think? I think that might be a good idea.
And then,
yeah. And then
what do we do after that?
Choose 5 names, write them down, take away the vowels, try and shout them.
Okay.
Yeah. And then you make the pledge. I will spell every syllable with a vowel. But you'll see that it will come up soon. I'm trying to find a quick way to do it, but all of this is really slow. But there we go. All right. Does that answer your question? And by the way, your name, Thomas, would be which would be really hard to shout. Anyone would be shouting at you. All right. One more question, and then it's time to go.
We have a few more in chat.
Oh, okay. Unfortunately, I have an appointment in half an hour, so I'm going to have to go.
You've got a New Zealand accent.
Ooh, a New Zealand question. Woohoo, go.
Why do we have to end up?
Yep, I'm listening. Not sure our bandwidth could cope with that. I'm really sorry. You could write it down. If you have a vowel, you clap it, said someone. Yes, you can do that. I'm going to show you a way of counting them. It's even better than clapping. But that's a story for another day. Why does your voice sound different when you hold your nose closed? Because we send a lot of air through that past that nose, especially m and n and ng. Those are nasal sounds. So yes, you sound weird when you have a cold and your nose is blocked. That's a really good question. All right. My mum's name is Jackie. What sound does the CQU make? Well, the U it forms a consonant digraph, so you don't count it as a vowel. Yep. So the CQU is k, which, well, there's obstruction there. There's something in the way. Consonant, don't count U as a vowel when you're spelling if it's attached to a Q. Everybody, I'm afraid I have to go.
There was one, I think they were asking about your New Zealand accent.
My New Zealand accent? Oh, right, I'm from Scotland. I don't have a New Zealand accent. And in fact, I'm really bad at even doing an impersonation of one. Except I can say Netflix in a New Zealand accent. Do you want to hear Netflix in a New Zealand accent? Ready? Knitflux. All you have to do is say knit flux and you've got Netflix. Knitflux. All right, I have to go.
Can you do this lesson with pre-primary students?
Pre-primary? They can certainly watch, but very soon there's going to have to be some writing. We're going to create some word lists and some rule lists as well. So I love to watch. When I was little, I used to watch lessons with my brother and sister. So they're very welcome, but they might not be able to write everything down. Everyone's welcome. Okay, everyone, guess what time it is? Yep, I'm going to unmute you all. You're all unmuted. I can hear everything you're saying. And if you want to put on the cameras and say bye.
Bye.
We're going to go now.
Bye. Getting out of the shop.
One, two. Bye.
Bye.
How do you say bye? Whatever. Bye.
Bet she's about to wrap it up. I'm not too sure if
Bye.
she's recording thing, but I'll have to be.
Bye.
All right, let's move on.
Bye.